working on the wort, but what I'm doing in this particular step is actually called sparging. What I did here is a one-step conversion. Remember when I was telling you about the grains, we used the 10 pounds of two-row malt? I used a two-row malt because you can do a one-step conversion with that instead of a two-step, which means you get it to one temperature and hold it there, and then you're done with your conversion. Now, there is a 6-row malt, which needs a two-step conversion, which means you'd hold it at, let's say, 145 degrees for 45 minutes, and then 154 degrees for another 60 minutes. The temperatures are going to be a little more important there, and most importantly, it's a two-step conversion instead of a one-step conversion. With the two-row, you get away with a one-step conversion. So, I'm doing a one-step conversion. What I'm doing now is just moving this wort into this bucket. But that's not all you do. You also have to give it, it's called sparging. You have to sparge it. Sparging's not complicated. All you do is I'm going to move everything that's in this pan to this pan. I'm going to use these measuring cups because I'm not strong enough to pick this whole thing up because it's really heavy. Alright, as soon as I get everything that's in this pan into this pan, I'm going to clean this pan, drain it back into this pan, and then it's going to be in my bucket with a valve. Then I'm going to drain it from my bucket with a valve back into this pan. You're going to have a bunch of grain left there. There's all sorts of sugar sitting in that grain. I don't want to waste that, so what we do is called sparging. Sparging, we just get this water here, we bring it up to 180 degrees. Now there is 3.8 gallons in there, which turns out to be 3 gallons and 13 cups of water. So those 3 gallons and 13 cups, we have to get that up to 180 degrees. I did that for emphasis, wasn't it cool? Anyway, we have to get that up to 180 degrees and pour it over our grains and then drain it off also into this pan just to get all that extra sugar off. Alright, I'm going to start doing this. Now there's, on my iPhone, because I'm a trendy guy, there is a program called Brewing. Costs like $2. Totally worth it. It tells you exactly how much water you have to use. Like that 3-gallon and 4-gallon measurement I got, that came from that Brewing. It's connected to, you want to take one? Thanks, son. Oops. Connected to the website Brew365, something like that. Oh, be careful not to touch it. And viewers at home, be careful not to touch it. Another thing, you notice how those brewers are all, those wine brewers are all hoity-toity, like, oh, you brew beer, that's cute. Well, I just got to take a little digression here. I brew wine and I brew beer. My two big ones, yeah, I know, it looks delicious. My two big ones are mead and beer, of course. Mead is just honey brewed from wine, real easy to do. About 15 pounds of honey to 5 gallons of wine, or 3 pounds of honey to 1 gallon of water. All you do is there's a set of chemicals that you would mix into you get a brew bucket, a lot like this, and you mix the honey and the water and a bunch of chemicals in it. You just use hot water and you stir it. Now, if you're making wine, that's low enough I think I can manage picking it up. Ah, burned to the bottom of my pan. That's a problem. Stir as much as you can. You will get that burning to the bottom of the pan a lot, though. Alright, so I was talking about the people who are all hoity-toity and like, oh, I don't do beer, I do wine. Well, now I have made mead that I just told you about. Great mead. I love mead. Mead's one of the best drinks ever. Seriously, it is. That and beer, my two favorites. I've also made wine, you know, regular wine made from grape juice. I've made some strange wines, some bizarre wines. But anyway, I make beer, I make wine, and I make mead. Those are the three things that I make. Really, mead is a type of wine, so basically I make wine and beer. Alright, if I was making wine, I would put the grape juice in a big container like that, stir it up, pour it into my carboy. That's it. It's easy. It's like making Kool-Aid compared to beer. So if people get all high and mighty on you because you make beer instead of wine, you just tell them beer is way harder to make than wine. On average, this all grain will take me 5 hours. Wine, on the other hand, will take me from start to finish maybe an hour if I'm dragging my feet. Probably closer to half an hour. Yeah, it could take me a good hour. I don't know. Anyway.
No beer for cats.
Takes a long time. Beer is not an easy thing to make, so don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And actually, wine is an easy thing to make, so don't let them be all high and mighty on you. Again, I'm not downing wine. I love wine. Trick with wine is you have to be patient for wine. If you want your wine to be any good, you got to let it sit in the carboy probably for a year, and then age for another year to be really good. Maybe if you're really lucky, you can get away with aging for only 1 year. Beer, it's in the carboy for 2 weeks. You let it age for 2 weeks, and you drink it, so it is a lot faster. Now, I want to show you how this thing lights. All right, I'm going to turn on my propane tank. Funny, if you could. You know how propane tanks, just move it to open. Here, if you have the same model that I do, which I love this model, so I hope you do, you just turn it a little bit. Open is going one direction. Now I'm going to start my lighter first, and you see I'm just holding it down here by the flame. And then I'm just going to turn this a little bit till it lights. There it goes. The reason I am and that flame is adjustable with this right here. Can go lower, can go higher. That's adjustable. It's very useful for controlling your temperature. The reason I am turning that on is because I mentioned I need sparge water. Oh, I need my sparge water, my 3.8 gallons, or 3 gallons and 15 cups of sparge, or 3 gallons and 13 cups of sparge water to be 180 degrees to get the proper temperature over here. So I'm going to heat this up to 180 degrees. All right, all I'm going to do when I'm gone, I'm going to take this pan, clean it, get all of the grain out of it, get as much of that black stuff on the bottom out as I can. I'm going to clean this pan. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain this bucket right here. I'm just going to drain all the water from this bucket into this clean pan. Then I'm going to close the valve on this. I'm going to pour this sparge water at 180 degrees into this bucket. Then I'm going to open the valve again and drain that into the pan as well. So you're going to have a lot of water in that pan. It's going to be very heavy. The next thing we do is boil for an hour, so a lot of that's going to boil off, so it should be okay. Let's hope we didn't use too much water. Brew Pal told me how much water to use, so if it's wrong, it's their fault. No, I'm just kidding. No, really, I'm not. It is their fault. But they seem to be really good. They've given me great advice. Never been wrong. Could be that I didn't boil it long enough or whatever. So we'll watch the water. Because when I read these, you know, you've got the 4 gallons of sparge, or the almost 4 gallons of sparge water and 4 gallons of this original conversion water. So that's 8 gallons of water. And you only need 5, so where's that extra 3 gallons going to go? That just makes me nervous. I'm sorry, it just does. Thing is, it all evaporates. Still makes you nervous. There's calculations out there. Double check your work if you want to, or just trust that Brew Pal. Just in the App Store, Brew Pal. So nice. You type in your grains, your yeast, your hops, and then you're done. All right, so it looks like we are ready, and again, I'm just going to clean this out, pour this water in there, and that water in there, and that water in there. Made sense the first time I said it, so I'm not going to repeat it. And we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes. Have fun.